£150 million a week we send to the EU, which we will no longer send to the EU. Can you guarantee that's going to go to the NHS?
No, I can't, and I would never have made that claim. That was one of the mistakes I think that the Leave campaign made.
As we can see from the coverage of the EU referendum, the media has a massive influence on the political landscape of our country.
However, we saw a majority of people voting to leave the EU because of the false claims of the Leave campaign regarding Turkish migrants swarming London and how the EU crippled the NHS, as well as perpetuating patriotic myths surrounding the British way of life.
Had it not been for these mistruths, would the outcome of the referendum be any different?
As aspiring journalists, we have an ethical obligation to report the truth, and we should remain balanced and objective as often as possible.
However, a conflict could be created due to pressure from editors to publish certain articles, even if we do not agree with them ourselves. Even the basic coverage of the £350 million a week promise can persuade voters even if it is reported objectively.
As journalists, we feel we have the moral obligation to confront and disprove obvious deception. However, if we were working for pro-Leave newspapers, we would not have the opportunity to do so.
Therefore, do we follow the instructions given to us despite disagreeing with them, or risk our jobs to protect the truth?
We spoke to the editor of politics.co.uk, a national media outlet that reports on and analyses important UK political news, about his thoughts on balance, neutrality and objectivity when reporting on political issues. This is what Ian Dunt had to say.
Objectivity is another matter, because objectivity says not you will take two views on a given subject, and balance it out. It says you will report what is really the case. And I think once you focus relentlessly on objectivity, you're in a pretty safe space, and you've got an awful lot of room to be opinionated, because you can basically say to the reader, in whatever terms you do that, this is our view, and this is why we hold it. And as long as you're linking out and substantiating your arguments as you go, and showing that they are couched in.
Ian Dunt's words reassured us that although the media landscape can sometimes neglect its responsibility to convey the truth, in most news outlets, objectivity is important and the truth will usually prevail.
However, our opinions regarding the EU referendum coverage are perhaps biased in themselves, considering our views differentiated to those published by the mainstream media. Perhaps if Remain had won the vote, we would not be as concerned.
Although, as journalists ourselves, regardless of our personal opinions, we feel that accuracy and objectivity should be prioritised above this.
Therefore, if we were faced with publishing a deceptive article, we feel we would push to prevent fabricated information entering the public sphere.